Welcome back. The concerns of some Nigerians of southeast extraction continue to come up in the manner in which resources appointments should be handled. Today, a group of elder statesmen from the south and southeast regions met in Lagos on ways to help unite the region and ensure that no region in Nigeria is marginalized. South leader Chief Edwin Clark is asking that Nigeria consider true fiscal federalism, which will ensure equity and even distribution in the nation's wealth. The new President General of the Igbo Socio-Cultural Group, Ohaneze Ndigbo, and former Nigerian Minister John Wodo says that the Igbo nation is marginalized, considering the current distribution of appointments and treatment of people from there.
A federal Republic of Nigeria, whereby the three regions, North, East, and West, will be the components. Every region will be equal of the other, but allow each region to develop at its own pace. And three, physical federalism. That is, whatever is produced in your area, you'll be entitled to half of it, 50%. The balance of 50%, 30% will go to the three regions, again with the federal government, and 20% to the federal government.
We feel discriminated against. We do not feel that we are equal members of this federation. And I have enunciated the characteristics before. But just for your benefit before you leave, we belong to a country where every region of this country has more than 5 states, but we are the only ones who have 5 states. Notwithstanding the inclusions of various places, we are still left the minority. When I listen to speeches by the likes of the Emir of Kano about an agreement to keep us down because we went to war, I wonder when the war will ever end and when that agreement will be repealed. You know that all the security services of this country, none is headed by an Igbo man.
The Independent National Electoral Commission is currently experiencing a major internal purging, as the Commission today says there is an overhaul of its Rivers State office. Also, the Commission says it has received a report from the EFCC, in which some of its staff were accused of certain infractions. Now, according to INEC, 202 INEC officials from 14 states were mentioned in the anti-graft report, and based on that, the Commission has queried and invited the staff to appear before an administrative panel. INEC says the final report of the investigation into the matter will be considered by the Commission at its next meeting. The Commission, in the announcement of the shake-up in Rivers State office after the controversial Rivers rerun election, says that the 29 members of staff that were recommended for disciplinary action in their cases currently being handled by the Commission's disciplinary committee. The place of psychology in peace and nation building is important in order to know why people take the actions they take. It could also help prevent negative actions and reactions in society. This came to the fore at a public presentation of a book titled Touching Lives Through Psychology, in honor of Professor Olatunde Makanju, who spent 42 years in scholarship and mentoring at the University of Lagos. Professor Makanju believes that some of the security issues in the country could be better handled if psychologists are involved.
Mr. Jai Fawale, President.
Maybe we've been approaching, the solution to the Niger Delta problem, the Boko Haram problem, from an angle that has not taken into account psychology. In fact, politics in this country, until we reckon with psychology, we will not be able to achieve much, because psychology will definitely analyze things for us, look at why is this so, and how can we intervene and take a scientific approach to it. I'm not saying that in all instances psychology will succeed 100%, but I can tell you psychology will have done better than without psychology.
Let's make a quick switch to the world of business. Here's Imana Amawe.
You first. First Bank.
Many thanks for staying with us. Welcome to Business News. The Central Bank of Nigeria says it will sell dollars through a book building process at the interbank spot market to clear a backlog of dollar demand for companies and importers of petroleum products, machinery and airline equipment. The regulator says the companies would be required to pay the naira equivalent for their dollar bids through commercial banks at the spot market, which will be delivered within a 2-month period. The CBN is, however, yet to announce the amount it would offer for the FX sale. And fast-moving consumer goods giant Nestle Nigeria is reporting a 67% decline in its profit, which fell from 23.73 billion naira in 2015 to a low of 7.92 billion naira as at December the 31st, 2016. On the other hand, the bellwether stocks revenue rose 20.3% from 151.27 billion naira to 181.91 billion naira, with cost of sales put at 106.58 billion naira. Nestle is impacted by the shortage in foreign exchange and decline in consumers' purchasing power. And Nigeria's premier and valuable lender, First Bank, has launched a micro-enterprise financing initiative in collaboration with the Bank of Industry. The partnership, which is also a brainchild of AGDC, is aimed at providing funding and training support to start-up businesses.
First Bank is 120 years old with legacies across the financial services industry. In a bid to sustain this trend, the Tier 1 lender has taken a step ahead to solve the challenges of Nigerians in micro-enterprise through a program tagged Youth Ignites. Partnered by the nation's development bank, the Bank of Industry, and an agency known as After School Graduate Development Center, AGDC, the new program targets talents with sound mind.
We will be helping in the training, letting them see what the challenges which they might have in running a business, challenges in running a bank account. One of the things we want to do is onboard them to the formal banking sector.
The chairperson of First Bank, Mrs. Ibukun Awoshika, says the motive is to bring the youth into the wealth distribution value chain.
We only gain as a country with such a large population when we convert the energy and the drive and the minds of our young people into critical, real value for our country. And that's what this project is about.
While First Bank provides support services for the program, the Bank of Industry serves as the big brother.
The more we are able to invest in potentially viable projects that can be sustainable, the better for us. Because we have two bottom lines mainly: financial viability and developmental impact.
For people that are starting businesses afresh, they're able to get up to 200,000 naira to start a business. For those that run businesses already, they're able to get up to 500,000 naira to move their businesses to the next level.
With a target of 5 million jobs, which can be any number depending on how the businesses play, and there's always a game of chance involved in this, then we believe that it would be substantial enough to create some impact.
Youth Ignite has a turnaround period of 90 days, another lending program expected to bridge the gaps of entrepreneurs' capital need.
Massive sell-offs from industrial bellwether equities drove the Nigerian Stock Exchange to its biggest loss in 4 months, while the all-share index fell to an 11-month low. Here's BC Adebayo with details.
As Nestle releases a bittersweet earnings report for 2016 to the market, the local bourse stumbled by 1.40%, its biggest drop this week, following heavy price losses in some of the major industrial bellwethers
dominated by 3 Dangote subsidiaries. Total transactions also yielded a lower turnover of 1.74 billion naira from 186 million shares traded in 2,899 deals. Thursday's session saw a combination of muted activity as well as significant depreciation in market value from 13 decliners, led in percentage terms by Dangote Cement, Dangote Sugar and Africa Prudential. Price gains were recorded from 9 stocks, led by Forte Oil, Okome Oil and Ico Group. The 3 most actively traded stocks for the day were Zenith Bank, UBA and United Capital. And that's it on the stock market reports. I am BC Adebayo. In the meantime, leading world stock markets closed Thursday's session with mixed performance after the strong rally recorded on Wednesday as investors brace up for a possible interest rate hike by the U.S. Federal Reserve later this month. And that's Business News Tonight. I'm Imana Amawe. The news at 10 continues.
First Bank.
The inauguration of the assets management team of Belema Oil Producing, an indigenous oil player, appears to lay to rest the corporate rift between it and Seplat Petroleum. A peace deal was brokered by the National Petroleum Investment Management Services, a subsidiary of the NNPC. The event, which took place inside the boardroom of Belema Oil, saw the president of the company, Jack Rich-Tyne, and the CEO of Seplat, Austin Avuru, pledging to work for the interests of both companies.
It's a special meeting in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. One that all present have been looking forward to. Executives of Belema Oil Producing Limited and Seplat Petroleum Development Company, both operators in the upstream of the oil and gas industry, are collaborating to forge a partnership that will last 5 years. But it did not come easy, as both companies had been embroiled in a litigation battle over the control of Oil Mining Lease OML 55. Now, a team is being put together to make things work.
Belema Oil and Seplat has come a long way in expressing mutual interest to creating value for their respective organizations. And that has led to several misrepresentations filed by the media and all that. That Nigerian indigenous companies are not able to work together.
It also represents the true spirit of reconciliation after a period of misunderstanding that was so well handled and so well managed by both parties that today, without any of us appearing in witness boxes and giving testimonies in courts, without any of that happening, we were able to meet around the table to resolve the issues that caused the original misunderstanding.
The leader of the National Petroleum Investment Management Services delegation, representing the federal government, is pleased with the development and hopes it lasts.
We're also happy for the maturity showed by the two companies in resolving the issues around them. And here we are in the table exchanging pleasantries. We are passed through the stages of storming, numbing, forming, and now we are performing.
Once underway, it's expected that both parties will leverage on the opportunities before them and turn around the fortunes of their businesses, the community, and economy.
The Borno State government has confirmed the diagnosis of Lassa fever in a 32-year-old woman in Zabamari, a Borno village. According to the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Haruna Mshila, The incident is the first to be recorded in the state. He also says the survivor was sick last week and was admitted at a government hospital in Maiduguri. A sample of her blood was taken to Lagos for tests and returned positive. Still ahead on the news at 10, Spanish La Liga champions Barcelona confirm exit of coach Luis Enrique at the end of this season. We'll have more in sports news. Do join us again.